Welcome to Fans Assemble, where we come together to talk about all the things we fan over, like comic books, movies, sports, or anything else that we love. We hope you enjoy the show. Everybody, to Fans Assemble. I'm your host, James. And here we're going to talk about another one of our holiday countdowns. Hopefully you saw our nice, beautiful Christmas greeting card I made, consisting of Batman and the Justice League singing carols together. Our just to recap, our holiday countdown. Basically us counting down towards Christmas and, into New Year's, into all the holidays we celebrate in December. And we're going to give we all enjoy comic books here in Fans Assemble, all enjoy superhero stuff. And we're going to talk about basically content that celebrates the holidays in the comic book world. So the first one we had was Spider-Man Miles Morales. Go check that out. Very good video where Ray and I discuss how my co-host Ray and I discuss how we have holiday movies and TVs, but we don't have a video game, and there you go. And we get into that a little bit. And then we also talked about Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special before that. But here, I am joined by my co-host Ray.
Back again.
And Ray gave us the great idea of this holiday countdown. So we're going to talk about a show that Ray and I have always really, really liked, Justice League, the animated series. Ray and I were just talking about before recording that we can't believe that we never talked about this show. It's such a good show. And hopefully, we're hoping that maybe we're going to do something about it over the break, perhaps.
Yeah.
But we're going to probably talk about the show in general a little bit after we talk about this episode. But we're going to talk about the episode Justice League, Comfort and Joy. It's basically a very Christmas-centric episode. Usually, the Justice League show, the first two seasons, excluding Justice League Unlimited, there's a part one, and then the next episode's a continuation of the previous one. This is, I believe, the only episode that's not a continuation or starts off. Yeah, it's not like a two-parter.
No.
It premiered in December 13, 2003. It's in the middle of season 2 of the Justice League animated series. And Ray and I have both watched it very recently. I have watched it just like a couple of days ago. Ray has watched it a million times.
Yeah, I've seen the show.
So, yes, we both watched it a lot. The show, we're hoping, like I said, to find some excuse to talk about the show in general. So
yeah,
I'll start us off because Ray seems to get stage fright unless I start.
You're the host.
Okay, I guess so. So it's an excellent episode. I mean, this show in general is very good. Ray and I will be always singing its praises. Every time we mention DC, we'll probably always mention the show. It's a very good episode. They have 3 plot lines going on in it. You have one with Superman and Martian Manhunter, one with the Flash and Ultra Humanite, who's basically this very smart gorilla apex predator. And then you have one with Hawkgirl and Green Lantern. All 3 are kind of surrounds the holidays. Superman, Martian Manhunter is not from Earth, so he's very lonely during the holidays. Doesn't know what the holidays mean, so who's better to show what it means than the superhero that exemplifies America than Superman? Takes him back to Smallville. They celebrate. Flash, he tries to get a rare toy, and Ultra Humanite comes into the storyline as well. He tries to get this toy for this orphanage, and then the third storyline is Green Lantern is kind of trying to show Hawkgirl what the holidays mean and stuff like that. And you see little things about the characters, about their past, kind of like Superman and Green Lantern, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great episode, and it does a great job of kind of like. I'll let Ray go into what his thoughts about the episode. I've gone long enough. So, Ray, what do you think of this episode in general as just like something for the holidays, right? This is a holiday show we're trying to do right here.
Mm-hmm. Like, even though it's like a holiday episode, it still like adds on to the story, like and the show itself. Like, it's not like, it's like a random episode,
like a filler, right?
Yeah, it's not like a filler. Like, it actually like expands on like you said, especially Martian Manhunter. I feel like that plot line is kind of like the center of the episode.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
I think it's. Do you think it's probably the best? I think.
Yeah.
like Martian Manhunter in the show for some people, like he comes in the first episode and he's they have him act like an alien, right? He doesn't understand humans. But
Yeah.
then you get Superman, right? Obviously everybody knows he's an alien.
Hmm.
And do you think it was kind of cool seeing like Martian Manhunter, he like comes in the house and he's
Yeah.
like very stiff and he doesn't want to like intrude.
Hmm.
And then the parents are like, yeah,
Mom,
come in. Like it's nothing new to them, you know?
I feel like anytime you
This
have mom and pop Kent, like you know it's gonna be like good because
Yeah.
they always like bring out like the human in Superman, like even though he's not.
Like they understand like their son is from another planet, right? This is like
Yeah.
they welcome everybody. Uh One thing I really so the thing I think you'll add on to this as well as my favorite part of the episode is of course like two favorite parts is Green Lantern with his storyline with Hawkgirl in the beginning at least. He like says like Green Lantern. Do you notice like in the whole show like they make I didn't realize as a kid, but when I we watched it now as an adult, like they make him very like he's like a soldier.
Yeah,
He's
it's
kind of
just yeah. Hmm.
like he's like calm, cool. Like he's like let's get down to it. Like he's trying to like make sure like the plan's going. But then all of a sudden like this episode he's like talking about like his grandma taking him skiing and he's
Yeah.
having like a snowball fight with Hawk Girl. Uh, and then but my favorite thing is when Superman like notice how like, he gets like he becomes like a child again.
Hmm.
Like there's like the part where he like his parents are like, yeah, we used to have to wrap Clark's presents in lead.
Yeah, because he
They can't
peeks in.
see.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and then he's like, you mean Santa? And then like, yes, of course, Santa Clark. And then he tries to peek it again
Yeah.
as an adult. And then I love it when like he's trying to be like all homey with John
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter, and then you see like Martian Manhunter goes, I've never seen this side of you, Clark, and then like he's showing around the house, and then his dad's like, I'm gonna light up the tree, Clark, and Clark's like, that's my favorite part, Dad, don't do it, and like he like runs over. Yeah, you just get that like side, and it's kind of cool because you and I were talking about this other day, like Justice League, the show, like the relationships are so big in the show. Like some people are like friends, some people are like more like coworkers, some
Yeah.
they get to know each other. Uh like you notice how like the structure of the show, it kind of feels like like you meet like a coworker for the first time. It's your first year working somewhere.
Hmm.
And then you're all learning about each other's like holiday traditions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Like
Like
I like how it brings out like the human aspect of all like every character, not even just like
mhm.
also Shire, like not human, but like
Her like what she likes, yeah.
yeah, like the emotional aspect of each character.
Yeah, like one end of the episode, the beginning is like I mean not Martian Man. Green Lantern's like we said, the snowball fight, and then he's like, this is what I love to do. Like on my if I got to choose like what I got to do on the holidays, and then
Mhm.
what does she pick? She's like getting in a fight.
And then they go,
I like
yeah, then they go to the bar, and then they
yeah, like
fight.
she likes that.
Yeah,
uh, you, you mentioned the progress of Martian Manhunter with his Justice League members.
yeah,
What did you notice that in the end of the episode, would you say this added on to the finale of the Justice League show, I guess, when
yeah.
they have Hawkgirl like after her and Green Lantern get in like after the bar fight's done, they're kind of like like embracing each other a little bit.
Hmm.
So yeah. What do you think of the Flash's storyline with Ultra Humanite?
I think that was like the underrated part of it. I think
Yeah.
like I don't know, like it shows like the like sometimes like the you don't really see like the relationship between like the villains and the heroes in that kind
Mhm.
of way. Like so it's kind of like nice to see like and also kind of shows like the Flash is different than a lot of heroes because like
He's
he's not
spending
like
time with these kids and
yeah like and then he's like understanding with like the villains he's always fighting like I feel like it's kind of like a big difference from most heroes you see in like comic book media. So
yeah. Also, didn't it feel like slightly like a little bit of like you and I were saying, Superman. He showed like the innocence of like somebody who like looks forward to this time, which is him.
Yeah.
And then Flash, I felt like it's kind of like a little bit of like a old school Christmas movie throwback. Like,
Yeah, almost like yeah, exactly like the feel good kind of. I think all of them are kind of feel good, like, but like
yeah,
but definitely like I feel like the one with the human, like the
Humanoid.
ultra humanoid, yeah, yeah, and I just feel like that was like the best in terms of like feel good for
Yeah,
like the classic Christmas. Like at the end, everyone turns out like everyone's in the spirit.
and then they do a good job of like like you and I as adults, right? We're kind of like if we watch it now, and then like Ultra Human, like the beginning of the episode, Flash and him fight, and then the toy, something goes wrong with it, and then like Flash is like, oh, like he did all this work to get it,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, like Ultra Human, like it's like, oh, they come together a little bit,
Yeah.
and but then I said like, as you and I as adults, you and I would be like, oh, what's this? Roll your eyes, right? But then he explains like his motive, and you're kind of like, I can see it.
Yeah.
And then you think like, oh, but he's a bad guy, so shouldn't he like turn on him? And then they even like make fun of it. Like Flash is like, you see, like they get the gift, and then Flash goes, "This thing isn't gonna like blow up or something, right?" Like you see, like he's constantly asking, like, "Should I trust you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I thought that was really cool. But then in the end, the toy ends up like Humanite does like a big modification to it.
Yeah. Where it's like telling the kids like
Yeah, like
lessons of like history or something.
yeah, and it's like in a very soothing voice. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the night before Christmas, and then like, so it's kind of like you can't have anything go smoothly. So it's like a little bit of like a funny twist.
Hmm.
And then you would think like, oh, this is ruined, like this isn't the gift, but it actually ends up working out very well. So I I think for you and I, like some people like us, like we've grown older, we've matured our taste a little bit from ever since we watched the show as kids, but it still gave us a little bit of like laughs and a little bit of a twist and something different, right? Especially that storyline.
Yeah. And
Because
like
it's like, yeah,
I
go
feel
ahead.
the one with Shaira, like I feel like that's something you really don't understand as a kid, but now obviously like when you're older, you're like, oh yeah, like
Yeah, like why
like
would she want to like she gets in fights all the time? Why does she want to do this, right?
yeah. Mhm.
But then you start to understand like it's like her culture, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's cool because I'll put on my professor hat. I'll put on my professor hat. It's like you get like I'm not saying like everybody does this, but you go like sometimes you have a friend who doesn't practice the same traditions as you during the holidays,
Yeah.
and then you at first like maybe you didn't know them that
Hmm.
well, so you think like, oh, that's kind of strange, but then like you get to know that person, and you're like, you try to do it with them, and you try to like get into it, like you feel like family. It's kind of like the same thing a little bit. I'm not saying to get into fights in the bar like a Christmas, but
No.
yeah, but it's like the same thing, right? That's her tradition.
Yeah, just like the holidays in general, not like any certain holiday. Like I think that was like the big um like message they were trying to I guess send with the episode. Like it wasn't only
Yeah,
Christmas, like it was like the holidays in general.
and now that I think about it, you kind of made me realize the theme, of course, is the holidays, but I also think it's like you got like Martian Manhunter's never experienced the holidays, and then
Hmm.
he experiences like what I think like Superman is like the very typical like Christmas. He's celebrating the very typical Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And then in the end of the episode, Martian Manhunter, like he seems like he's more into it. And then the Flash, he and Ultra Humanite come together.
Yeah.
And then you got Green Lantern, he learns about Shaira's tradition. So it's like the reverse of like Superman and Martian Man. I guess the lesson's kind of like that it's all about like it's like we come together at this time.
Exactly. Yep. And like
Yeah.
everyone has different like practices and stuff, and
Yeah, exactly.
everyone can still enjoy the holiday.
And Ray loves this stuff because he's become a big a mushy softy
Yeah, I'm a
ever
big
since
softy nowadays.
because Ray loves. I will say as a comic book fan, and I agree, Ray loves it how like there's no like I guess Ultra Humanite's the bad guy,
Yeah.
but there's no real like the Justice League has to stop somebody. You just see them kind of like live.
Like we were saying that like some of the Disney Plus shows like you want to see that sometimes like like what do the heroes do like on Christmas? Like
Yeah.
that's what we're saying with Guardians too. Like you see like the characters like sometimes you just want to see them not always fighting the
Mhm.
big bad guy of the movie or the show.
Yeah, exactly. Like you and I said, that's the advantage of having a TV show, right? We get like a 360 of these people's lives.
And you can get more storylines you couldn't get in like these bigger movies or
Yeah.
things.
Like you're never gonna like we can't get like Robert Pattinson the Batman. Like, oh,
Yeah,
what is it like when he's like
like
on
chilling out
Tinder
with
or something?
Alfred on a
Yeah,
Sunday
yeah.
Sunday
But
evening.
what yeah, what are they watching on like
Yeah,
what is on the TV? Right? They gotta get into
which is
it.
actually one of the things I didn't like. Like one of the things I didn't like about the Batman was that like they didn't show enough of Bruce and Alfred, but
Yeah.
like you said, like it's a big movie, like that kind
They
of
they
stuff is
can't,
really
right?
like you can't really always include that in like these bigger movies and stuff.
You always feel like in a movie, like most movies anyways, they gotta be like, oh, okay, we gotta go, guys. Like, we have a plot to get to.
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree. Um so basically I think we covered the episode in general. You said that I'm gonna put Ray on the spot and hopefully he won't get stage fright, everybody. You say you want to talk a little bit about the show, possibly like how this episode fits in or something like that?
yeah. Like I said, like Martian Manhunter is a big part of the show, obviously because like the first few episodes are about like the Justice League finding him, and then that's how they come together. Like, and then like you said with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, their relationship's kind of the center
It's
of
like
it.
gigantic in the Justice League, like the whole show.
Yeah, it's basically about them, and so like
Yeah.
so like even though it's a Christmas show like episode, like it still plays into the whole plot of the show. Like
Hmm.
it's not like a little insignificant storyline. Like you actually
Yeah.
like almost like the Guardian special, like it plays right into Volume 3 by introducing
Yeah.
some
You.
plot lines and stuff.
Yeah. We think like the from 2 to 3. If you don't watch Holiday Special, it's gonna be like, wow, these guys, their relationships are a little bit different.
Yeah, like the whole thing with Mantis being
Hmm.
his sister and stuff.
It's like the same thing because like Justice League, I remember like so you know as children we do not watch episodes in order. We just
Yeah,
watch the
you
show.
just watch reruns.
So yeah. So I remember like I first started watching. I was like, wow, everybody seems like such a cool. These guys seem like a cool bunch of guys to hang out with.
Yeah, like a
And
cool
then
theme.
yeah, and then you watch the first episode and everybody's like, who are you? You know.
Yeah.
And then like the only people who know each other in the first couple episodes is Batman and Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah, because you have to watch the Batman Superman.
yeah, you got to watch the other episodes. I'm sure Ray and I will get into like the whole universe in general, since I believe that I I'm making my predictions. Since I've been a king of predictions. Go watch our MMA podcast where I'm actually absolutely crushing Mike on our predictions. But and then I predicted the Guardians thing, but whatever. That we're gonna talk about the DC animated universe, how it could come into play with the James Gunn possible
Yeah,
universe.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Either way, Ray and I will be making a video about the universe, the anime
Yeah.
universe in general. But Batman, Superman, in the show and the whole universe, they like work together a
Yeah.
couple of times at least 2 times, I think, something like that. And then they, their characters meet and cross over, so they're very familiar with each other, and so they know each other in the beginning of the show, and then like Wonder Woman and Flash and Green Lantern, all these other people, they start to like pop up, and it kind of feels like I guess like how the audience feel like. I would imagine back then, like we didn't like Flash wasn't a very super popular character. I would imagine like a child would know him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he's not like now, right? Even now, I would say like not every single kid's gonna know like the Flash.
Flash. Yeah.
So like they kind of introduce them like how we would be introduced. Like, all right, you already know who Batman and Superman are,
Mm-hmm.
but these people you don't. And then they're kind of like you even see like they're not like so close. But then as the show goes on, they warm up to each other, and then I think like you said, the holiday episode is kind of like that's that big culmination because the next episode they have like a big. It's like the big battle for the Justice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like and like like it's technically a different show, but it's not really like Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, it's just another subtitle.
They crank up the the people that are introduced in the show by like 100. Like like every episode is a new.
It's like way more than the first. Yeah.
But they do it so good, like that by the end, like they were able to combine all these storylines and stuff, and then I don't know, like, but like we were saying, like Justice League is kind of like the series is kind of like the beginning of all that.
Yeah, it's like the core basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll keep the Unlimited show. They keep following up with those characters. Like they do a great job. Like they don't have it be like, hey, you know those 7 people you got to know the first 2 seasons. Yeah, we got rid of them. So they always have like 1 or 2 of the original members like they're in the episode.
Walker plays a big role in Unlimited too. Like in Green Lantern, like you know the characters don't really like fall into the background either. So
yeah, they're shown at least a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then they still build on the relationships between like all the Justice League members.
Like the one episode where they find out that Chayera and Green Lantern have a kid and stuff, like when they go to the future. I don't know.
Yeah. And then they'll like refer, like you said, that's kind of like a little bit like a slight throwback. Like you think like, oh, maybe they kind of like dropped that storyline, but no, they didn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like you get like Martian Manhunter, like you would think like, oh, this guy, shouldn't he be gone now? Like he doesn't care about everybody. But then like you got episodes like this Christmas episode that like reinforces like, no, this is why he's still here, type of thing. So yeah. So this, I think that's pretty much, we talked about the episode. That's pretty much a wrap for this one. Justice League Comfort and Joy. All this made us realize is we have to do a little video on the DC animated universe eventually.
I watched that 2 years ago, I think, like straight in order, like every single show in the DC universe, like because I there were some of the shows I hadn't watched before, but like it's really one of the best, I would say, adaptations of the characters, you know.
Yeah, Ray and I like to say it's like close to being definitive for some.
Yeah, because like you get like stories like this, like even though it's a Christmas episode, like you still get like certain like storylines you wouldn't get in other DC animated, like DC, you know, comics, you know.
Yeah, they do a good job of like everybody human and it's connected, of course, so it makes it even better.
Yeah, like now that it's on HBO Max, you can watch it in order, not like when you were kids where you're just watching.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this thing's on at 9 p.m. when we try to catch it.
I agree. Like, I wish like HBO Max, like Disney Plus, they would have like a shuffle button where you could just put like a random episode, like almost like the old reruns. Because sometimes like watch an episode, like you just don't want to like watch like, you know, sometimes
I'm a little undecided sometimes.
Yeah, like I just want to watch an episode, but I don't want to watch. Because then you watch one episode and you're like, oh, now I gotta watch the next one, you know? And then you end up watching the whole series again.
Like the Justice League first 2 seasons, like the 2-parters and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, sometimes like this show, this like and this episode reinforces it all. This like show, especially the Justice League show, but I guess the universe in general. There's a lot of stuff like you just want to like watch a moment. You know what I mean?
Just like watch. You don't. Quick clip, you mean?
Yeah. You don't want to watch like. I mean, of course you want to watch the full episode, but sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much a wrap. Now Ray and I will be expediting the process of talking more about the Justice League cartoon show
in the DC universe.
Yes, and the DC anime universe in general. Hopefully that'll be soon. I think
we might have a few more episodes in the works because there's like 3 more episodes in the DC animated universe that take place during Christmas. So like.
Yeah, a lot of Batman. So.
Yeah, Batman. Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys for listening. We enjoyed. I hope you like listening because we enjoyed making it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to all of our audio platforms if you can. It really helps us get a better product. Hopefully one day Mike will get and I'm still going to run with this until he does get a microphone. Hopefully he'll get a mic and, we can bump with the graphics and things like that if our subscriber list goes up. So thank you and see you all next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like what you were listening to, please subscribe to Fans Assemble. And if you can, please give us a rating. Do it for the audio world. They need you.